Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with yet another episode of Lolcow Nobodies. It's been a minute since we were live on the channel, folks. I've been struggling to maintain energy to go live after work, and I've been busy with other shit, and I've got a lot of wacky stuff going on in my life, but I had to go live today because a creature who we've studied before, a being whose shenanigans we have cataloged in the past, has made a return, folks. You know, Maddox. He's been struggling to find his destiny these past few years, find what works, find what's gonna make him the money again, find what's gonna make him a big E celebrity again, and this is his latest attempt. And I gotta say, uh, I really don't know what to make of it. It's quite interesting. We're gonna go into Maddox's past, some milestones that were hit recently that I'm sure hurt Maddox's heart, and then his big new project that he's coming back with, folks. Maddox is back. It's real, everybody. Strap in for Lolcow Nobodies.
Tried to track the circus scroll, timeline burning out my
Don't mind me just making some last minute lighting decisions after that whole fucking debacle, as if I couldn't have done that earlier. Hey, everybody! That's a great intro. Fuck you. That's that's probably my favorite intro song for this show by a fucking country mile. McDonald's bag update? You want a fucking McDonald's bag update? There. There it is. Are you excited? Did I just dox myself? Hold on. I'm making sure I didn't just dox myself. No, okay. That was a pretty short stream, wouldn't it, folks? There you go. There's the McDonald's bag update. I do have one in my possession. Oxide. Real. If I get doxxed, then we could finally post all our memes. All of Debbie Gloob's memes about my address can finally be public and not just group chat memes. But folks, you may recall a man by the name of George Azunian, better known under his pen name Maddox, accomplished author, New York Times bestseller about 22 years ago. And since then, some struggles, couple of low points since his days as the New York Times bestseller. He had a pretty good podcast for a minute there. There's kind of like a whole debacle about that. His co-host slept with his ex from 5 years ago when he already had a new live-in girlfriend, and he was so incensed by that he decided not only did he have to end the podcast, but dedicate his whole life to ruining his old co-host life. He proceeded to make an absolute fool out of himself and make any sane person disassociate with him over years and years of shadow warring and canceling and writing emails to fucking people's places of business and all of that scummy shit that you shouldn't be doing online. So there were some lawsuits to be had. It didn't work out for poor Maddox. And one of the things that as his career slowly died, one of the things that died was his podcasting career. He had a whole network, the Madcast Media Network, which was supposed to have a whole cavalcade of podcasts hosted by all sorts of different people. I think it had like four throughout its entire existence. And unfortunately, Maddox started his new show, the flagship show of the Madcast Media Network, Best Debate in the Universe, just right after his previous podcast, Biggest Problem in the Universe, ended, and his co-host did too. Dick Masterson started the Dick Show. Now, Best Debate in the Universe, that one died out. I believe 2018. We saw the final episode of the Best Debate in the Universe. Maddox Maddox never really came back after that. I guess he had his fruit days, but that was barely even him. He just became better for that time. That was Maddox's comeback era, was the fucking when he was the banana and the cowboy on Twitch. But he abandoned that. He slowly abandoned all of his other projects, and as we know, he released his insane schizophrenic documentary about how Dick Masterson is a supervillain just about 2 years ago now, or probably like a year and a few months. But it was in 2024. I think it was the end of 2024, though. Maybe it was 23 even. I don't know, but he made this whole insane documentary. It's like fucking 3 hours long. Everybody immediately knew it was bullshit. He was supposed to do all these fucking Q&A streams where he like went into the details and answered everybody's big burning questions. He only ever did one of those. And he disappeared again, as he's been tending to do for many years. And even though At the end of the documentary, he promises he's gonna. This is him getting it out, getting it all out there, so he can keep writing, he can keep doing comedy, he can keep doing what he loves. But then radio silence. I think we've gotten maybe like one YouTube video since the documentary. I don't think we've gotten any new articles on maddox.xmission.com. But folks, recently, Maddox decided it's time for an exciting new rebrand. He's been out of the game for a few years. He's got to figure out what the kids are into and try to capitalize. So Maddox, I guess, had an idea on how to do that. Good old Maddox had a little plan as to what his next move is gonna be. He fucked up a lot. He's had a lot of time to reflect, but now he knows. He knows what the kids want, and that's who you have to appeal to in this crazy world is the kids. And of course, what are the kids into, folks? It's Magic the Gathering. That's right. New Maddox program. Soul Ringers, a Magic the Gathering show, podcast, whatever the fuck. There he is, folks. There he is. Our faithful hero. Fateful. It's not faithful. Our fateful hero in his new adventure. Look at his look at his goof ass face. Why is the thumbnail like this? Okay, I'm already nitpicking, folks. But of course, I saw Dick Masterson post this tweet, and I immediately was extremely interested. I watched a couple minutes, but then I was like, you know what, folks? I want to share this with all of you. Exciting new Maddox content, the exciting rebrand. He's got a lot to make up for, folks, but at the end of the day, content is king, right? You know what I'm saying. You know. You know. Let's see what he's up to. Of course, the biggest problem in the universe is going to be live in less than an hour. I will try not to run over them by too much. I highly doubt I'm going to get through both just because uh I have a feeling it's actually not going to be that entertaining except for in how not entertaining it is. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to stomach both of the uploads that have been made so far, but we're definitely at least going to get through the first one. We're going to catch up with our old buddy Maddox and what he's been doing with his time.
And then immediately I
First of all, I got to knock down the volume a smidgen. Got to go back to the beginning. Fucking AI generated shitty ass logo. It's definitely AI, right? Let's talk that's crazy to me. Cause I remember in like the biggest problem days, Maddox was always all like fucking hyper obsessive about fucking the artists and we gotta have the artists and we gotta fucking pay the artists and we gotta do art. We gotta have illustrators in my books. And now here he is on this shitty AI logo ass show. I don't know how much control he has over this. I don't know who's in charge, Maddox or fucking Chuck Retard, who we'll talk about in a minute. But I'm surprised Maddox would associate his brand with this. And in the 4 minutes that I watched, he never said the name Maddox. I'm interested to see if that changes. Because back in the day, back in way before times when the Madcast Media Network was still a thing. There was briefly a podcast called Godzilla versus Podcast Zero, which was a Godzilla movie review podcast starring Maddox and a girl named Haley Mancini, who's like an LA like writer. I think she worked on like Powerpuff Girls or some shit. And Maddox definitely just wanted to fuck this girl. And that was the whole point of the podcast is he's just like nerding out with her to got with about Godzilla as an excuse to try to get into her pants. And when they did that show, Maddox did not go by Maddox. He went by George, his real name. And the way he explained it was kind of retarded, and the way that we all kind of figured it out and assumed based on his history is that he was not confident enough in this product and its actual value as a podcast to attach the Maddox brand to it. He's very particular, very obsessive about his brand. But he had to do Godzilla vs. Podcast Zero so he could really try to get it in with Haley Mancini. So he just went by George. So that it like wouldn't be directly associated with the name Maddox. Completely retarded, completely autistic. But I'm interested to see if the name Maddox is uttered in this episode. Let's find out. Or George. He didn't even say George. Neither. I got fucking 4 minutes into this, and neither of these people have introduced themselves, unless I'm just retarded and missed it, which is gonna be big egg on my face if that immediately proves to be the case. But let's see it. We're gonna go 1.5 times speed. You're welcome. I do this for you, folks at home. And we're gonna see what Maddox is doing with Magic the Gathering in Soul Ringers, Episode 1.
Hey, I'm Maddox. I'm Chad Colchin. We are both longtime writers and content creators, and believe it or not, Magic the Gathering players. Yeah, I played back in the 90s when I was in high school. I know that's a long time ago. But after a lot of years off, I've now come...
They did just introduce themselves immediately, right? Let's go back.
Yeah, I played writers. Hey, I'm Maddox. I'm Chad Colchin. We are both long...
Okay, I guess he's not too attached to his brand anymore. He just, hey, Maddox. Okay, fair. Thank you for not being a weirdo this time, Maddox. Now, what I will say is, oh boy, is that liver spot pronounced. Everybody's joked about his liver spots before, but this is the most fucking clean and obvious I've ever seen a Maddox liver spot in my fucking life. Holy shit.
time writers and content creators, and believe it or not, Magic...
Also, who the fuck is Chad Colchin? Let me... Is there like a channels section here? They have an email address? Fucking captcha bullshit. Is it just Maddox at exhibition.com? No, it's soulringers at gmail.com. I'm sure they're gonna get a lot of productive emails. Serious inquiries only, folks, of course. Don't do any sort of trolling to Maddox's either Chad Colchin? Who is this? Okay, that's him.
I couldn't remember that word.
I don't know who the fuck that is. The Necessary Conversation. 101,000 subscribers. Okay. Okay. So he does like a political show with some like old lady. It seems to be doing pretty well. I kind of okay. I guess the celebrity streak keeps going. I saw this Chad Colchin fellow, and I was like, who the fuck is this? I mean, let's go through Maddox's previous co-host Rolodex. You got Dick Masterson, of course, famous Dr. Phil troll, very successful author, actually funny guy. Rucka Rucka Ali, famous parody musician. Everybody's heard a fucking Rucka Rucka Ali song at some point in the year of our Lord 2026. Not during the year 2026. In fact, you probably haven't heard them in 10 years. But I'm saying everybody who's around in the year of our Lord 2026 has heard at least one Rucka Rucka Ali song. Mikey Bolts, that guy who does the fucking Stewie Griffin impression. He does all the impressions and sings songs. Not the Brock Baker kind of took that and ran with it, but it was Mikey Bolts first, I think. Maybe they were both doing it at the same time. I know Mikey Bolts isn't around anymore. Unless he came back, but this isn't about Mikey Bolts. I guess there was Ron Babcock, who was kind of nobody. I don't think he's a very successful. I know he's a comedian. I don't think he's a very successful one. But I guess this guy's pretty sizable. He's getting 100 or like thousands and thousands of views an episode. A lot over 100K. Okay. Well, Maddox, you got yourself a famous little friend. Let's see if he can take you far.
The Gathering players. Yeah, I played back in the 90s when I was in high school. I know that's a long time ago. But after a lot of years off, I've now come back full circle and I'm hardcore back into Magic the Gathering again. We started talking, and now we're going to make some content about how this thing has destroyed our lives. Yes, very much so. And we kind of learned by accident. We were just grabbing dinner one night. We just talked about Magic the Gathering. So you want to start a YouTube channel? Yes. And now we're doing it, and this is that. And I saw the glimmer in your eyes because I'm like, oh, he's addicted. Yeah, just like I am. And I didn't think this would happen again. We were both
Glimmer in your eyes. Fucking two men in their 40s having glimmers in their eyes about fucking Magic the Gathering. Oh boy. We're in for one, folks.
both really into Magic when it first came out, way back in high school. Yeah, I remember the first thing I ever opened a Magic the Gathering was a starter deck of Revised. My first rare was a Personal Incarnation, which then sent me on a kind of collecting of Personal Incarnations journey for the next...
Maddox ass background music, by the way. Fucking Maddox ass shitty, fucking generic background music. What are these topics down here? Is there anything interesting? The psychology of collecting and card hoarding. I can't wait to hear Maddox's take on technology. Or technology, fuck, psychology. The evolving culture of and then what the show will cover going forward. I'm sure the show will go forward into the stars. Maddox has a great track record of continuing all the projects that he starts and producing them consistent. There has been a second episode, so they're doing good so far. Anyway, let's pick it back up.
Whatever, 3 or 4 years. I played all through college pretty competitively, and then I graduated in 1999, sold my entire collection, which of course was a very good idea because those cards are now not valuable at all, and I have no problems with trying to remake that entire collection at the same price, of course. Yeah, my original...
Is this the nerd equivalent to like being upset about having spent Bitcoin on a pizza? You sell all your Magic cards in college, and now like a bunch of them are worth thousands of dollars, and you're like, man, I could be I could be much higher in the social hierarchy right now if I hadn't offloaded my stock. This is why Vito's right and Dick Masterson is a fool. You have to hold on to these things. I'm saying this so that Vito will drown in Magic cards. It'll be really funny. He's just like encased by a prison of Magic cards. By the way, this is an L. This ends up being an L for Vito because like if he wasn't being compared to Maddox enough already, now they're both doing fucking Magic the Gathering shit. Vito's doing his gay little whatnot streams selling Magic cards and doing a bunch of problems on Biggest Problem about Magic cards, and and now here's Maddox doing a Magic show as if people aren't already saying Vito is Maddox fucking 10 times a day. We've got a new comparison to make. How exciting!
original collection I started getting into Magic when it was in the Dark series and the tail end of Ice Age.
Yep.
And
Good time.
anytime I opened a pack that had dual lands, which are now, for anyone who doesn't know, they go for like on average around $600 to $900+. They're very expensive. I would get those cards and I would be so frustrated that I'd pull those packs. Like, who's ever going to play a dual land? That's ridiculous. Dual land?
A land as your rare was like an insult.
I was so pissed. Yeah. I'm like, this is garbage. I'd flick them across the room.
I learned pretty quickly that the dual lands were actually good cards, and part of that collection that I sold had 4 of every one of those dual lands, which of course I probably got about $5 a piece for. Very, very good deal.
So let's talk a little bit about how we got back into it.
Sure.
For me, it was about 2.5 years ago. About 2.5 years ago now, where I was in a cabin with a bunch of my bros, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, do you guys remember
I was in a cabin with my bros. You're not allowed to talk like that, Maddox. You're too old.
that old Magic the Gathering game?" Like, yeah, the game we played from high school. Yeah. He goes, "You guys want to play it?" And we're like, that high school game? We haven't played that in years. He goes, "Yeah, well, let's just get back into it." I'm like, okay. So we found a game shop that was like 20 minutes away. We drove to it, picked up some packs, and we were so rusty playing this game. We're like, how do we tap mana again? What do we do?
Yeah.
We slowly like stumbled our way through a game, but it was that magic of owning those cards, those really valuable cards. So you think they're valuable cards. And having those and thinking like, oh yeah, I remember what this was like, and how important it was to optimize your deck and start doing the strategy. And we got just so sucked back in. I'm so sucked back in. Yeah, I spent way too much time on this hobby.
I think everybody feels like that. I mean, after 1999, when I sold my collection and graduated from college, I had a dead space of probably about 10 years. Every once in a while, I go on eBay and buy an old beta card or something, and I'm still trying.
I think the first funny joke will be told. Maddox is, big comedy guy, right? New York best-selling comedy book. I don't know what kind of operation Chad Colchin's running over on his Trump podcast with my grandma. But I don't know. Let's hope they make some good zingers. We're 3.5 minutes in. There hasn't been that good of a one yet. Chad joking about his lost riches was maybe somewhat smirk-inducing, but only for his suffering. Let's see if they can make any epic jokes.
Trying to put that set together, of course. But around 2010, I had some friends who played, and I got back into it a little bit, and then immediately I was like buying 10 boxes of, at the time it was Innistrad, I think, and putting together sets and shit, and it was just like building up in my closet, and I was like, no, I have to cut this off. And I literally stopped myself from like fully going back into it. Then I hate to say this because I have some feelings about Universes Beyond. Of course, we all do. It was the One Ring that got me back in. That news of the One Ring, the one of one, the Post Malone buying it, all of that.
Sorry, Guyana.
Somehow that kind of penetrated my sphere of information. I saw that story, like in just kind of casual news stories and stuff about it. My friend.
Wow, the IP fucking-ification of Magic the Gathering does work. It did get an old player back in, Maybe they should just be putting a bunch of licensed bullshit in Magic the Gathering, eh, folks? Worked on Chad Colchin.
Friends at the time in the beginning of the pandemic, we were all kind of scattered across the country. We started a weekly Zoom call where we were playing Dungeons and Dragons. They were all still very into it, and they would talk about the cards that were coming out, and I was like, shit, am I really going to do this? And then, of course, I bought like a couple of packs of, at the time, I want to say it was Modern Horizons 3. I'm not even sure what the first set was that dipped me back into it.
During COVID? No.
That's when I was just kind of casually thinking about it. Then I started buying the cards about 2 years ago, something like that. And immediately I just remember going into the LGS and being like, I'm trying to get back into Magic. What products do you have? And it was just like Commander decks, Commander Collector decks, Collector's packs, Jumpstart packs, Booster packs, draft, all this shit. And I was just like, what the fuck? And immediately gravitated to the collector boxes, and now that's basically all I buy.
Collector boxes. Yeah, that's a real high roller thing to do.
I mean, the addictive kind of like gambling nature of hunting.
I need to see more. Okay, this is an anti-Trump show, right? There's a lot of Trump in the thumbnail, so I immediately thought it was pro-Trump. Yeah, busting the MAGA bubble. Okay, so this is the Trump detractor show. Okay, I just wanted to clear that up. Because I was certain that Maddox was not going to, or is it like is this his mom? And it's like they disagree and that's the show. I'm gonna have to do more research on the necessary conversation. This seems like an interesting product in and of itself. Hopefully they'll have Maddox on as a guest at some point soon and I can review that footage. But well, for now let's focus on Soul Ringers.
for those serialized cards or a special foil treatment. I don't know how many boxes of Spider-Man collectors I've opened trying to get that fucking Soul Stone. I got it, but that's not gonna I'm still gonna buy the fucking collector's boxes till doomsday because it's just what it is now. Like, and I've accepted that this is me and this is what I'm going to do until I die.
When my friend who got me back into Magic the Gathering,
Yeah.
I told him, I confessed to him one night, like how addicted I was to
To your cock. I'm gay. I really want to suck your penis.
this fucking game.
Yeah.
How I'm just like all in. I think about it all the time. I'm building decks on paper. I'm going to Wikipedia and like looking up cards. And then I learned about EDH Rec, which is this website where that's a whole rabbit hole. Then you can start like auto building decks very quickly and modifying them really quickly. And then Scryfall is another website, which if you're not familiar, Scryfall you can go to, and it's like a search engine for Magic the Gathering, written by the biggest Magic the
Fucking
Gathering.
goofy ass music.
And this is gonna get real nerdy. It takes regular expressions, which if you know any kind of Unix coding or any kind of any language that uses regular expressions, it's a very powerful tool to search for cards. And I happen to know regular expressions, so I'm able to very fine tune and find these old archaic cards. And I have this bias where it's a real cognitive bias where you overestimate the value of things that you own. Okay, there's a study they found. Sure, they
There's also a thing where you overestimate the value of yourself, but let's not talk about that, huh, Maddox?
brought a bunch of like students in college and just randomly sorted them into two groups, handed one group of students a mug, and then asked them like, how much would you sell this mug for? And they said on average like $5. And then the people who didn't get a mug, they're like, how much would you buy that mug for? And on average they're like $1, $2. We don't want the mug.
Interesting.
Yeah, but just because you owned it, and it's a real cognitive bias, you tend to overestimate the value of it. I'm like that with my cards. And a lot of them are just shit ass cards, but because I opened it back, oh, there must be some destiny to this. This is my card.
Yeah, that's interesting, dude. I know roughly the value of my collection and some of the big cards in it and stuff like that for sure. But for me, I think the collecting of it, in terms of like the value and stuff, it is all rooted back to the trauma of regretting selling all my shit when I graduated college. And now the hoard only grows. I will never sell a card. 100% never will sell a card. If I pull a serialized Chocobo, $70,000, I don't care. It's going in the hoard. I will never sell.
Okay, at least Vito's selling off some of the stock at this point. You gotta be savvy. You gotta hit the market. Whatnot.com/Vito.
Oh, that lesson has been learned the hard way.
So we had this discussion actually right before we started recording, because we're talking about the format and how we're going to talk about Magic and how accessible it's going to be and this and that. And we started talking about this phenomenon of selling cards, because I recently started selling some of my cards. I broke the sacred pact, the sacred oath to never sell a card.
The hoard only.
Maddox, can you try on a hat and some glasses for me? I wanna see something.
Grow.
Yeah, well, it's embarrassing, and I don't know where to put this stuff. I'm like stuffing it in every corner. There's like cards all over my fucking house, and it's embarrassing. And I also, this is something that like I work into telling girls who come over to my place. Like I'm not gonna tell them about the Magic shit until day 3. I'll get a tarp.
Gate 3. Hey, okay. You don't want to show girls your Magic collection, Maddox? That embarrasses you. 1 minute. I'm gonna end the screen share for 1 second, and I'm gonna look for a certain image. And we're gonna talk about what does and does not embarrass Maddox, folks. 1 second. In fact, I can probably just search this on Twitter, which I already have open. Let's go ahead and do hashtag slime time. Oh, the first results. I was doing a slime time. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you the bedroom of a king, right? This is a trend in the Dick Show community way back in 2019 that I participated in, about asking girls in your life what they would think what they think about this bedroom. I guess one of my female friends in class said, "I don't know what to think. Did you let a 2-year-old design your room? Pretty good." Uh, Ricky Hanglow says, "Not enough dicks." I miss that wacky character, Ricky Hanglow, from the Blastburn Radio Nuzlocke community. What a blast from the past. This is fucking old hat shit. But this guy who lives in this room is the same guy who's throwing tarps over his magic cards until date 3. Sure. I'm sure this is not just some sort of like macho posturing, as if you're not already emasculating yourself by doing a whole show about magic cards. Anyway.
Oh my god, dude. And they're like, what's under the tarp? That's even not scarier than the magic cards. I think you're actually fucking yourself with the tarp down. Hey, nothing. Don't worry about it. It's just a mess. Yeah, it's just Magic the Gathering cards. Really? Why is there a tarp on them then? Yeah, it's been something I ease them into. Okay, I understand. I have a confession to make. I have something to tell you before if we were going to take next steps in this relationship. You need to know something about. Yeah. So I got to that point where I got like too much product, too many cards, and then I thought one day I'd be very charitable. And one of my friends comes over and he's like, him and his wife, and he's like, he's into Magic and she's very supportive. Like she calls him a huge nerd. She calls us both nerds, but she watches us play and she's a cheerleader. She loves it. She loves it. She will learn to love it. So I go into my room to get this big box of cards that I'm about to hand him. Yeah. And I was like, let me just take a quick look and see. Oh my god. And I start rifling through. I'm like, these are too valuable. They're all too valuable. They're all too good. I whittled it down to the shittiest cards. Yeah. 3 hours later, you come out with like 5 basic lands. Yeah. You need these to play the game. Enjoy. It was such a piss poor. Like I feel embarrassed, like looking back how parsimonious I was and handing him just some bulk that I don't even care. So that's when I realized I have a problem. And I need to just like.
Did you give him any exotic fruit at least? You know, what you have to give to all of your honored guests. I love just all the little things Maddox has said over the years. Recently, Dick Masterson has called for the compilation of a Maddox story database. And I think we really do need it. This is probably among the lower echelon. Although it is pretty funny that he's like, oh, look at me, Mr. fucking magnanimous. And then he just decides, let's see how much scratch I can make off some of this. And then decides to not do that, actually. He had a brief moment of wanting to be kind in this world, and the greed of capitalism caught up with. I thought money didn't make his dick wet, guys. That's what he said. He said money doesn't make my dick wet. And that's why I won't do a podcast with Dick Masterson. He's compromising his own values, folks.
Disengage and sell these cards.
But you can't because you're talking about selling the cards. The stack of cards you showed me that you were going to sell is like this big.
Yeah.
That's not going to get rid of the problem. You're still going to need the tarp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like once you're in, you're in. And part of us starting this channel, I think, is my full acceptance that I'm in now. There's no turning back. Luckily, I had a girlfriend when I kind of started this journey again. I feel bad for her. She's had to like bear witness to my slow descent into madness with this shit. And Magic cards are just everywhere. That's what it is. And I think anybody who plays this game, especially at this point, with the like breakneck pace of all the new shit coming out this year, 7 sets, the most sets ever in the history of Magic in 1 year, are all coming out. How many fucking secret layers are we going to be inundated with? We've already had like 6 or 7. We're in month 2 of this year.
7.
That's just what it is now. Everybody who plays this game
I'll just outlive myself. I'm sorry.
I think you think of your collection as like, this is what I'll start it with. I do. Anyway, that's how I feel about it. And I know that's like ludicrous, but I've accepted it. I kind of don't care because even if I'm not playing Magic, the amount of content that I watch about it on YouTube is overwhelming. The amount of like, you're talking about deck building and shit. I have like the deck I'm
fucking music,
all around me are the scattered cards that used to be in the deck that I am now replacing, or this is a pile of cards I might replace, or whatever. We all have that. We all understand it. That's just a part of it. It's a part of like being into this as a hobby at a certain level that you're comfortable with, or maybe not even comfortable with, but I'm doing it.
I find myself getting random cards in the mail all the time that I completely forgot that I purchased.
Absolutely.
And then my other problem is like I buy them because I think of a deck that they could go in.
Yeah.
I have.
Maddox is just sitting there, doom scrolling, eating gummy bears in his fucking shitty fucking Section 8 housing apartment. Fuck. And then he finds his way to Amazon or whatever fucking card searcher website he was showing off earlier, and he's like, man, I really need to get me fucking this orc. I need this orc. And then by the time he fucking comes to out of his gummy bear laced stupor, he's like, fuck, I didn't mean to buy fucking 30 orcs. God damn it.
At any given time, around 25 Commander decks. So Commander, for those who are not familiar, is the popular format in Magic. So if you haven't played Magic in a long time, or maybe you've never played it, Commander is basically the format that everybody's playing now. And it came from the Elder High Dragon.
Well, it was created by this dude whose name I now forget. My apologies. But he was a high-level Magic the Gathering judge. And he created the game basically for judges to play after tournaments, and it was supposed to be kind of a more slow-paced, fun, type deal. And Highlander, it's named Highlander because you can only use one of every card in the 100 or the 99 card stack. So
there can only be one.
Yeah, there can be only one. And then your commander had to be an elder dragon from the original Legends deck.
Yes. And that's where this format came from, and it is expanded to basically any type of legendary creature. So, in Magic the Gathering, you can open some packs, you get a card that's a legendary, which used to be a really big deal.
Yeah.
Now, sets are printing legendary cards like left and right. Legendaries aren't worth anything most of the time.
Yeah.
I think in Final Fantasy, I looked it up, and there were, or maybe it was in Spider-Man, there was like 68 out of 180 cards were legendary, or even more. There was so many legendary cards. They used to be very meaningful.
If he modeled this himself, the logo's definitely AI. I have a feeling the cards shit is AI too. Because it doesn't look very intricate. It looks kind of simple. If he did 3D model it, I'm sorry, but the fact that there's like so much AI in this production it makes it funny because it's yet another piece of evidence that he was working on that fucking ridiculous documentary for like 7 years, like that obsessive documentary. There's like 1,000 pieces of evidence that he spent like 2017 through 2024 slowly building that video, and part of it was that he was very intricately 3D modeling his name fucking bouncing around in the background. And man, the AI we could have had this real quick. If it had happened in the AI age, Maddox's documentary would have been hot off the presses. Maybe Dick Masterson would have been epically defeated after all.
And valuable. But anyway, the point is this commander format that was just kind of built as by fans and a casual thing that people just did on their own eventually got enough traction that it warped the game, it warped the meta, and Wizards started noticing and saying, hey, you know what, we're going to start printing some actual commander decks. And they started printing those, and it became even more popular. And then people started taking those pre-built commander decks. Those are called pre-constructed or pre-cons, is if you hear that jargon.
Yeah.
That's all that means. It's a pre-constructed
Pre-cons, those in the know call them pre-cons. I don't know if you're caught up on the lingo, but we call them pre-cons.
And then that's a good starting point for a lot of people because you can buy those, play it right outside the box. You don't have to put any thought into it. And a lot of times they're built pretty well, so that the deck does what it's supposed to do. The mechanics work together. They're functional. They're not too complicated, so anyone can get into. And that's the problem. And that's how I got hooked so hard.
Plus the Universes Beyond stuff, which I guess we'll probably do another whole video talking about our thoughts on that. But basically, it's Magic licensing these other properties in order to kind of draw in fans from those properties that might not even know what Magic is or have never played it, and this might be their kind of entry point. And so now, more people are playing, at least per all the things that I'm reading and watching online, more people are playing Magic the Gathering than have ever played before in the history of the game, and the number only seems to be increasing. There is a robust investment market all around Magic the Gathering where you can watch individual card prices go up and down like stocks by the second. People are doing buyouts of cards. There's all kinds of wild shit going on, and it's just, looking back on when I started playing this game, back with my revised starter deck, I would never have imagined that it would become what it is now, with your ability to open up a pack that is like a current pack of the set that is out now and pull a $70,000 card with the Magic stock market, with all of these different formats that now exist. It's just wild. But like I said, I'm definitely like hardcore back into it in a way that even probably in high school and college I wasn't, because I have more time, more disposable income, and there's just so much more to do with the game than there was then.
And the library
Maddox does not have more disposable income.
of cards that you can play with has expanded from when we were playing as kids in high school, like what, maybe 1,000 cards, maybe 2,000, maybe, maybe. Now it's like 35,000 plus. So the number of combinations and gameplay that it leads to is infinite. And there's the joy for me and a lot of players, I think once they've gotten back into Magic, they understand the mechanics and the general archetypes of the game, is the joy is finding those old cards that are slept on that people forgot about, that came out when Magic wasn't as ubiquitous or popular as it is now. And those are format warping. And that's where Chad was talking about, like the speculation aspect of it starts to come into play. Yeah. Because you can find an old card that you buy for like 50 cents. And then the next thing you know, this new set that comes out happens to really utilize that old mechanic that you bought for 50 cents, and now that the cards skyrockets to like 30-40 bucks.
Yeah.
That 30-40 is not going to make or break anybody. But if you have like 10 of those cards laying around, suddenly, oh wow, I made a car payment.
Or if you're, there's a guy, I'm kind of following the story right now. This isn't Magic the Gathering, but it's Pokemon. A guy bought all these old copies of this Kabuto card. He basically owns them all now, and as a result of them being taken off the market, the value has increased by like 4x, and he's got thousands of them.
He basically bought them all out.
Yeah.
That is insane.
And you can do that. There are stories through Magic the Gathering's history of people doing that with reserve list cards, like obviously Black Lotus is the most expensive card, but all the old like reserve list stuff, people try to run buyouts all the time on these things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's like a commodities market.
Well, they say the phrase "Gaia's cradle" at any point. We gotta keep the us Vianon members, us Veto watchers. We've got to find all the Veto buzzwords. Are they ever going to talk about Gaia's cradle? I heard I saw this news story about this guy on a podcast who burned this Gaia's cradle card, and Maddox is like, no, don't talk about that. How long do you think that meeting was, by the way? That's a funny thought. You know, before Maddox started this project with this guy, there had to have been like a sit down where he's like, "Listen, I have this community of harassers and trolls that always tries to mess with my livelihood. And if you start a show with me, you might be victim to those trolls." how how much of a diatribe? How much of the lore from the warped perspective of Maddox did this guy have to sit through to start the Soul Ringers Magic the Gathering podcast?
that is completely unchecked by any governing body. Yes, it's fascinating to me. There was a lot of speculation actually a while back. So another thing that's kind of happened with Commander being so popular and as ubiquitous as it is that Wizards of the Coast tries to manage basically the expectations that people have when they're playing this game. And one of the things they did a while back was they banned some very powerful cards from this format, which was a huge upset in the community. People were like pissed off because some people, they even tried to sue Wizards because some people, the speculators who were buying these cards to potentially as investments really, got pissed off because they said, well, overnight my investment of like $6,000 worth of cards went to zero because you banned this card from this format. But there was some conspiracy theories. There's a big website called TCG Player where people can go to buy second-hand cards.
Well.
Yeah,
You're talking about like, I always have cards coming in the mail that I forgot about. TCG Player is notorious because it's like a bunch of different people selling through that website. So you can buy a card and you don't necessarily know where it's coming from or when it's going to show up in your mailbox. You could get it 2 days later. You could get it 2 months later and be like, oh yeah, I remember I was going to build that deck and I needed this card. And then you're like, what deck did it go? I have that happen all the goddamn time.
I have so many cards like on the side. Like this is a really good card in some deck of mine. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So this TCG website though, they have a really interesting price tracker, which shows just like the stock market, it shows the value of the card over time. You can look at it in the 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, year to date, and then like historically to see how the card has performed. You can see spikes and dips and so on.
Gonna take off. I wonder if he's actually hitting the right audience here. I imagine like he used to have this kind of like sophisticated audience of like they were nerds, but they kind of felt bad about it, and they were still trying to be like cool. And they were successful because they just enjoyed like good comedy. But I do imagine the people who didn't eventually leave Maddox and go to Dick Masterson are just like the complete fucking nerds. So maybe this is the right move.
So right before they announced the ban for this, we did see some people noticed there was like a big drop in the cost of this card that they were about to ban. So there was some speculation
I'd like there to be more jokes, though. Would be my one criticism here.
that there might be some insider trading going on. So this is, like Chad was saying, a completely unregulated by the SEC.
Yeah.
It's a completely unregulated market.
I'm firmly convinced that's happening. If you work at Wizards of the Coast and you have any information, even about cards that are coming out of the next set or the next 5 sets or whatever, you're telling me you're not putting money into that? It's free money.
Also, these cards that are very valuable and very rare, nobody has any kind of regulation or checks or balances on whether or not these cards are ever reprinted. Like, there's nothing stopping anybody at the actual company of just saying, hey, for a Christmas gift, here you go. Here's a $5,000 card. I just hit print on the printer over here.
I don't think they do that.
You don't
on a
think so?
reserve list? No, I don't think.
No, probably not reserve list, but like, you know, any of the foil treatment cards on the collector box.
I don't know, dude. Now you're getting into like some conspiracy theories. That's like, do you know what happened to 1989 Upper Deck baseball cards?
No.
This is a very famous story in the baseball card industry. I used to collect baseball cards when I was a kid. They printed a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card in that set that was like right out of the pack. It was $50, and people were like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" So Upper Deck was like, and they just started printing sheets of that card and sold them themselves, flooding the market, and it devalued the card, crashed basically the entire baseball card collecting industry as a result of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! So what I'm hearing is it's not unprecedented. It's possible. Yeah, possible.
It's never gonna happen though. Not to my.
You don't
cards. think
so? You don't think that somebody over there has ever hit print on like there's
But not to my cards. They would never do it to the cards that I have that are worth all of my net worth. Just other people's.
in the history of Magic?
Oh God, I don't know. In the history of it, maybe, but like, I will say this: the baseball card industry in the 1990s was not like Magic the Gathering makes $1 billion for Hasbro. Upper Deck was not making $1 billion. This is a different thing now.
Have they changed the
collectible
song
trading
this
card
whole
industry
time,
is
by the way? Is this
it's
the
a,
same fucking
beast. Like,
song?
it makes the most money of anything Hasbro does. I think, and this is another video that I'm sure we'll get into as well. I think they are certainly aware that they cannot kill this golden goose, and maybe it's too big to even kill. That's also possible, you know. I think it's just a different era now. But I'm happy to be in it. I guess, in quotes, happy. I'm in it. I'll say that much. And I'm accepting that I'm in it.
Yes.
I'm accepting that we're making videos about it, talking about it. I'm accepting that.
These are first steps, Chad.
God, first steps down a road that I'm not sure I want to fucking find the end of, but here we are. Here we are, talking about Magic the Gathering cards in the year 2026, which is going to be one of the most volatile years for Magic the Gathering cards to date. I guess probably the most.
And like you said, we'll talk about Universes Beyond, which is, you know, the stuff that's outside of the original IP of Magic the Gathering, which is very, very weird and dorky. It's like all the Dungeons and Dragons shit, plus like weird magic shit, which is very, it's very endearing. It's very, it's very like, it makes you feel comfortable when you see some of this old art. It looks like people drew this stuff with like colored pencils on a piece of paper. He just took them, scanned it, and they're like good enough. Like the old Land of War Elves art. It just looks like something I did in high school. I do too. It's like so.
And Maddox, I think, did it right.
I don't know, but big fan. Yeah,
I think I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that.
So the Universes Beyond stuff is like other IP, and no matter what you're into, just about. There's something in there for you. Like my girlfriend has not been into Magic at all. I guess she's been a good sport.
My God, they are into the fucking a million IPs. That's funny.
Played a game or two with me.
Oh wow, I haven't gotten that privilege yet.
Oh yeah, I don't even dare to ask. I don't know if I want the.
It's like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
I don't know how to do that.
I'm reconsidering. I'm like, I don't know if I want her in this.
Yeah, she just starts kicking your ass on a regular basis.
That's not gonna happen. But she.
Maddox, you don't have a girlfriend. Shut the fuck. There's no way, right? There's no way. What would a woman see in him at this point? Just that some of that Armenian charm really gets to me.
Like
it makes my dick wet. I mean my vagina wet. Because I am a woman, Maddox's girlfriend. He's probably talking about a boyfriend, let's be real.
She was completely oblivious and doesn't care, doesn't have any. She has a very like innocent approach towards Magic the Gathering card. She looks at the art.
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, that's really pretty. I like that card. I bet it's really good." I'm like, oh, "That's good art."
Yeah.
she'll build her decks based on that art. Right.
That's really pretty. Her decks.
But it wasn't until The Walking Dead, which I believe was a secret lair, that she was like, "Oh, there's a Walking Dead thing. Okay, I'm actually a bit more interested in this now."
My girlfriend sometimes comes with me to the LGS against her will, but I'm like, please just let me walk in there with you by my side. Please, you don't know what this means to me. And we were looking at Magic cards. I was buying some or whatever. She's like, oh, they have Fallout cards. She really likes that TV show and that whole world. So I bought her a Fallout Commander deck, and we never played, but she looked at all the cards.
At the start, that's as far as I wanted to go. I'm happy with that, you know. It's a gateway, yeah, it's a gateway.
Exactly.
And also, we should also talk about the hobby has changed so much, and this universe is beyond. Like people are coming into this game that have never played before. Like it was unheard of that there were any like girls who played it back in high school, and like, you know, every now and then there would be like a token like a female player here and there. Now it's pretty much I would say
girl. Whoa. Maddox playing fucking Magic in high school. The fucking like frumpiest, pimply assest girl ever walks in. He's like, whoa, she's beautiful. Oh, Maddox. I love how he was playing Magic the Gathering in high school at the same time he was like driving down to make out point with his bros and like shining his lights and honking at people to fuck up people's date night. What a card. And he plays cards. I'll hook myself.
it's parody, but like I'd say like about 30% or so. We were kind of joking. It's a very big stereotype. We were kind of joking. My girlfriend was like, "Are there any girls that play at your local game shop? Like when you're over there?" She goes, "When's the last time you played with you saw a girl in there?" I'm like, when's the last time you were in there?"
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't play at a lot of like LGSs and stuff. I do more just like I guess deck building for my own amusement than I do playing. Strangely, maybe I'm not having to reflect on that. What is this game doing to me? But yeah, I think just generally speaking, the audience for Magic the Gathering is so big.
I just like to look at it. I sit there. I open a beer and I look at it. That's not the quote from GTA 5. It's something like that.
It has really kind of like grown to encompass pretty much everybody.
Yeah, anyone from any walk of life, and no matter what geeky hobby you're in, from Lord of the Rings to Doctor Who, Star Trek stuff is coming out, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of Disney collaboration at some point. I mean, Disney has Lorcana.
Yeah, Lorcana has to go away first. I don't think they would ever do that.
Yeah. But Star Wars seems like so right.
Yeah, totally. And obviously they already have a licensing deal with all the Marvel shit.
So maybe. Although we did get Marvel. We have Marvel coming out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They've already licensed with Disney. So I bet Star Wars has their own card game too, though, which is kind of floundering right now. Once that one dies, maybe there'll be like a Chewbacca secret lair or some shit. I could see that. A Baby Yoda.
Radio Live would have been better than this. She'll get a Radio Live soon, Redox. Don't be a fucking bitch.
To promote the Mandalorian movie, who the fuck knows? But all of that. Suffice it to say, we are heavily in. This is our first video where we're basically just kind of laying out why we're doing this, what we want to talk about, all that. And yeah, there'll be more videos to come where we're going to be
I still don't understand why you're doing this. You didn't make that clear.
talking about Secret Lair, our thoughts on Universes Beyond, the lawsuit that is being issued against Hasbro right now.
Maddox hears the word lawsuit and he's like, uh-oh.
Which is wild as hell, and a bunch of other stuff, all related to Magic the Gathering. That's all we got.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Hopefully. Stay tuned. We're deep in it. So hopefully you'll join us for the ride.
Wow, folks. Exciting first episode. Man, how the mighty have fallen. He chose the wrong. He chose the same elevator song has been playing for 20 minutes straight. I know! So at least use multiple elevator songs. You don't need the same fucking elevator song for 20 minutes. Oh, hold on. Hold on. We don't have to put it up on the screen. I just want to know if they use the same shitty elevator song in the next video.
Chad, as many people know, I am famously
Man, which has tanked. People hate it. So
don't work anymore. There's art that just looks like
Okay, they killed they killed the elevator music. They- they're done with the elevator music. Oh, I know what I wanted to do before we close out the show. I wanted to take a look at the comments. They're see what the people are saying about soul ringers. Let's see how many of these names I know from the Dick Masterson community. We just watched. Oh
I
hi,
forgot I
oh hi,
changed my.
Freshie.
I got YouTube Discord Nitro for 6 days by using my OBS, and I just switched every single fucking thing to that. I went to the server and had it with a whip. I went to the Lolcow server and got the A130.
How you doing, Freshie? Uh-oh, we lose you?
No. I was turning on my light,
I see, I
and then
see.
now turning on my camera.
Why are you
There
on
we go.
your, like, weird alt account today?
Oh, that's not my all account. It's my main account.
Oh, okay.
I went and just I went again. If I had Disco Nitro for a good amount of time, you just see so many fucking photos and different servers I'm in. It's just me fucking around. What are you watching?
An old character, an old lolcow that I've been covering on my shows for quite a long time, a gentleman by the name of Maddox, who is an accomplished comedy author from 22 years ago who has since had a falling out with his podcast co-host that resulted in him destroying his entire career in an effort to destroy his former podcast co-host career.
Oh, damn.
He tried to sue him. He tried to get him canceled. He tried to tell people that he was a sex pest. And just slowly but surely he lost all credibility. You know, people stopped caring about him, and they all went over to Dick Masterson, his co-host. And his most recent gambit about 2 years ago was to release a whole huge 3 hour documentary about how Dick Masterson is an evil monster and how he's been the good guy this whole time. Uh, and you know that flopped, as that just created months of bonus content for Dick Masterson to make money on Patreon, and that's all that achieved. So now Maddox has decided to do an exciting new rebrand and do the most boring, awful Magic the Gathering podcast I've ever heard in my life. And we just listened to the first episode of that. Now we're gonna read some comments, see what the people are saying about this exciting new show that Maddox has started.
I see it.
This is the necessary conversation. Thanks, Snetrum. I guess Maddox's co-host has some political show called The Necessary Conversation. I have to assume most of these comments come from fans of that show, because Maddox. It's all going to be fans of The Necessary Conversation and Dick Masterson fans trolling Maddox. Is going to be my guess. So this is the necessary conversation. Johnny Rocket, who is a known Dick Masterson character. Maddox is back. Heck yeah, and it got a heart. I have to assume that Maddox is not in control of this channel, or else Johnny Rocket would be banned and deleted. I have to assume it's the other guy.
I feel like that might be the other guy. Or like someone made a good comment on there just to be like, "Hey, someone's saying something good about me."
Maddox knows though. Maddox knows all the characters. He's obsessively watching everything Dick does. Maddox certainly knows who Johnny Rock is. Cryptic Golem, love the pilot episode. Constructive criticism, could the music be quieter? Thank you. Maybe half the volume might just be me, but I found it a little distracting from the conversation. Yeah, okay. They ended up cutting the music, which is a good move. Love the show. Maddox seems like a really smart dude. Well, you should probably do a little bit more research. Excited to see where it goes. Harry Potter, Universes Beyond. Okay, gay fucking magic shit. Oh, cool, a new Game Slimers segment. I think that might be an old head reference that not even I get. Uh, Maddox, what a blast from the past. This is so exciting. What has he been up to since that Big Problem show? That's the show where he had the big breakup in the lawsuit. Either way,
Oh.
this is cool. What does the reply say? Who replied? Great question. I wondered the same. Maybe I'll watch a video or two. I almost feel like Vinny Sarcophagus is being unironic, while Governor Goo is definitely a Dick Masterson fan doing a troll.
Is Dick messaging like the guy who was claimed he had like a high score on a video game?
What?
I
No,
am
that's Billy
getting
Mitchell. That's Billy
Billy
Mitchell.
Mitchell. Okay.
Dick Masterson is a podcaster. He does shows. He's actually he had one of his weekly shows, Biggest Problem in the Universe, goes live in about like 5 minutes. So I'm probably gonna end pretty soon.
To
Cause
watch that.
yeah, cause Dick's actually funny and good, unlike Maddox nowadays. Uh, Holy crap, doing a little show with a friend of yours. This rocks. I wonder which one he's talking to in the comment. A little show. I feel like
A
Maddox
little
would be
show.
very offended by this. Can't wait for this podcast to be in my driving rotation. Gay fucking magic shit. Is this Maddox as in the best page in the universe? Bro who has not been on the internet in 20 years. I legitimately thought of him when you mentioned his name on TNC, but thought surely it wasn't the Maddox. My childhood internet merging with my 40-year-old internet is wild. Ha ha ha. I love whenever Maddox does something and all of these like innocent people rediscover him without knowing how much of a complete scumbag he's become. And then the Dick Masterson fans always come in and immediately ruin their lives. It's like, oh, I didn't realize he was that big of a giant cuck loser. Let's see
Boy, that is so
any
sad.
any other good troll comments? I have to imagine they've started to be cold at this point. Even if Maddox is not in control of the channel, he's definitely sent a couple obsessive texts to this guy asking him to delete comments because I feel like
Delete the
there.
fucking comments. Delete the fucking comments, you single nun.
Let's see the comments on episode 2, which we did not watch because I do not want to sit through it. Uh, there's my comment, which I think I'm surprised I'm the first one to do this bit because it's a good bit. So Dick Masterson's current co-host on The Biggest Problem in the Universe, which used to be his show with Maddox 10 years ago, but then he rebooted it with a new co-host because Maddox went
Oh.
insane. Um, and his co-host is Vito Gesualdi, who is a comedian who's also very into Magic the Gathering. So, I thought, Maddox is a comedian in LA who likes Magic the Gathering. Vito's a comedian in LA who likes Magic the Gathering. So I gave them a nice suggestion. You guys should have Vito Gesualdi on as a guest. He's a comedian in LA
True.
who loves Magic the Gathering. I think you guys would get along. I don't see what any problem with that would be. I think Maddox could make a good new friend out of this. We love the high fantasy, but it was the TMNT stuff that got me into the game. I love how these were all like the opposite Magic the Gathering fans to the ones that like Vito interacts with and attracts though, because he fucking hates all these gay licensed character sets. And it seems like Maddox's fucking subhuman audience disagrees.
So
Uh,
So I
Yeah,
can tell by the fucking comments, this guy sucks.
he
Like,
does.
why?
He used to be
How
great.
many?
That's the problem, Freshie. He used to be amazing. The biggest problem in the universe, the original version, it aired for 2 years, 2014 to 2016. It is the funniest thing to ever happen on the internet. It's my favorite show ever. It's perfect. The dynamic between Dick Masterson and Maddox was unmatched by time and space. But then Maddox let it ruin his life when Dick Masterson dared to hook up with his ex, even though it was his ex from 5 years ago, and he had a live-in girlfriend at the time already, a different girl. He got so upset that Dick Masterson hooked up with his ex that he had to drop everything and ruin his entire career just to get back at Dick Masterson.
My ex girlfriend left because of this shit, and I'm now going after you, fucker.
Yeah, and his girlfriend did leave. His current girlfriend too, eventually. Probably because he spent all this time, and because she got a fucking restraining order over it. Because Maddox made her call Dick's girlfriend's school, because Dick's girlfriend was a teacher. He made her call Dick's girlfriend's school to try to get her fired. So they had to get a restraining order on Maddox's girlfriend. So, so she left because she didn't want to deal with this insane bullshit. I guess he claims he has a new girlfriend now, but I'm not buying it. I'm gonna have
Riley,
to
are you
see
there?
this girl. I'm here. Can you not
You're
hear?
roboting. You're roboting for me.
I think that might have been on your end, Freshie. I don't see any sorts of errors. Am I
Yeah,
coming through
there's
okay
not.
now?
Yeah, you're good. Everything is. My Wi-Fi is doing good. It shows my end is doing good.
Well, hopefully nothing's broken. But yeah, I want to sit you. I've been meaning to say this to you, Freshie. I do want to sit you down and give you a like lore lecture on Maddox someday, because he's quite the fascinating character, and he's got up to quite the wacky shenanigans over the years.
What type of Lolcow is he? Like, how bad of a Lolcow is he?
He just he thinks he's the king of the world. And
He thinks he's the king of the
he
world.
thinks he's the king of the world, and he will act as if he's in the right all the time, and he could never do anything wrong. And then in the background, he's like emailing Dick's fans jobs, trying to get them fired. He he tried to sue Dick and all of his like comedy friends for millions of dollars each in the most like the most unsubstantiated lawsuit in history, got laughed out of court. Fucking the whole all sorts, and he just like goes insane. He starts thinking Dick's fans are like at his house fucking with his garbage. There was some leaked texts where, because he's such an asshole, so like everybody who he ever interacts with will eventually be like, I fucking hate this guy now. Here's everything we ever said to each other. And then Dick Masterson gets to read the leaks on his show. By the sounds of it, he's a man baby lolcow, just like Mo. What you're
He sounds
describing,
like
Riley, is every man baby man in his 40s in the world. That's fair.
he sounds so fucking like he's so obsessed with Dick Masterson that he probably in love with him secretly.
Yeah, and he tries to spin it like Dick is the one. Like like that's one of his main
Oh no,
points in his documentary, cuz Dick does talk about Maddox on his podcast all the time, but only because Maddox is trying to fuck with him all the time.
so it's in response. It is in
Yes.
response.
And it's some of
Okay.
the funniest like content in the world is just Dick bullying Maddox, because he knew Maddox for years. He lived the experience of being friends with Maddox, this like strange weirdo. And he just every time he talks about him, he's got all the perfect summations, all the good jokes about how much of a loser he is. It's great. And it was so great that Maddox was like, I have to sue him about this. And then he got laughed out of court. I
Damn it, he's doing so good. He is doing so good. I gotta sue him. I gotta sue him.
gotta sue his ass. What do you mean they made a Christmas album about me being a cuck and it charted on iTunes? and is now in the Library of Congress. I have to sue him.
Then he went into the Congress. He went into the Congress in the legislative branch. Hell no! I need to sue him. He's getting attention from the government.
He stole my livelihood.
He stole my livelihood.
Maddox is
I
projecting and
was
doesn't want to accept he's a lolcow. He's not in love with that guy. It's a cope because he's a sore loser bum. I watch lolcows for fun. Clarity is a virtue. That is fair. But like it's the fact that in that documentary, like he has this whole segment about how like, oh, he talks about me all the time. Here's all the fucking times he talked about me on Twitter. He just sits there and talks about me all the fucking time. And he literally animates this little fucking cartoon of like a disheveled, gross Dick Masterson like sitting on his computer typing shit about Maddox. And I'm like, bro, you put this much effort into trying to convince us that he's obsessed with you? It's the other way around, dog. This whole 3-hour documentary, you can't put out a 3-hour documentary where the point you're making is this guy talks about me too much.
how many? Okay, how many subscribers had he garnered? Like Maddox, how many subscribers have he garnered at the beginning, and where did they all gone? Because I seen 200, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had 300 at some point. He definitely hemorrhaged after the drama because like he was a big name like way back in the day. He's actually one of the like first internet celebrities ever. He had a website called The Best Page in the Universe where he would write like comedic articles. Like he was a comedy writer. And this was the kind of shit that like college bros would email to each other in 1999. And and he became somewhat notable from that and he had a New York Times best-selling book in like 2003 and he sold some TV shows that mostly never went to air. He had a game show that didn't air for like 7 years. Dick Masterson finally like found it somewhere. Somebody like dug it up from whatever fucking weird Indonesian production company owns it. And
Oh
then
my fucking god!
and then finally it got posted on Tubi. So now you can watch Cash Floor, a real game show starring Maddox, and it's the worst thing you've ever watched in your fucking life. It's so bad.
Okay? I can see why the book went fucking awesome. The alphabet is manliness.
The Alphabet of Manliness. It was a great book.
So he went from doing this shit to now being a fucking nobody.
Yeah, now he's a Nova, all because Dick Masterson slept with a woman who he never got over, even though he already had a new girlfriend who lived in his house. And that was unacceptable. And he's the king, he's the hero. So obviously he has to win in the end. The people who wrong him have to be defeated. And when Maddox just couldn't defeat Dick Masterson, every time he thought he knocked him down, he's like, yeah, I told everyone in LA he's a rape apologist, and now he's not allowed to perform at comedy theaters anymore. Surely now I've defeated him. And then his Patreon explodes, and he's making fucking thousands and thousands of dollars, and he's like, oh, well, that didn't really work out. But maybe I'll sue. He's talking about me a whole lot. He's saying I'm a cuck. That's slander. I can sue him. And then he sued him. And then he lost in court. And then again, Dick Masterson made thousands of more dollars on Patreon because people wanted to support him in defending himself from this frivolous lawsuit. So every time Maddox tries to take Dick down, it just results in Dick making more money. Even as recently as 2 years ago with this fucking stupid documentary, where immediately this documentary comes out and Dick Masterson is like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life. Because he gets to make like 10 bonus episodes slowly dissecting this fucking documentary and make like thousands of dollars. His Patreon skyrocketed again because of this documentary. Every time Maddox tries to take Dick down, he just makes more money.
I'm seeing this first video on his channel, on his main channel. 2.3 mil, 4.5 mil, 3.2 mil, and all of it doing good. And then it went down 15 years ago, and it continues to go down because he's probably
Check out his most recent videos. What kind of views are they pulling?
um starting around like the next day, 8 years. 8 years was 15,000 views, but the recent one got 21,000 views, 14,000 views,
50,000, 14,000, 21,000. But compare
10,000.
compared to fucking 5 million or something you said from before,
Mm,
from the beginning of
Nine
this
point
venture.
9.6 on his fucking like the man who canceled himself when fans become stalkers.
Yeah. That's the
7.7 on.
that's one of the chapters of the documentary.
Oh my god. This 7.7 thousand. The rape list when
Rape
fans become
list.
the
Which
N word.
the N word, yep. Dick Masterson said the N word before. Crazy. I can't believe it. Um,
And these are
uh,
these are like fucking. Chapter 1 started off. It got 11,000 views, and it just all the whole thing didn't get any good. No, nothing. And then
you know, and
the
also
dog.
the original upload before it was out in chapters. The original upload was the whole documentary all at once, and then that just like went down one day for reasons we still don't understand.
What the fuck is he claiming right here? 2 years ago, the secret of Lolly and the man trying to normalize it.
Well, it's all fucking stupid shit. It's all gay.
I'm gonna have to fucking watch this shit. This shit looks so fucking gay. I can feel the aid invested documentary that I just probably catch age from watching it. But I'm willing to take the risk of catching age watching it than just like going and just be like, fuck it. What is I
You gotta,
plan on my view?
yeah, what's up, Lee? You gotta watch Justin Wang's videos on it too, because he gives it from the right side. All of Dick Masterson's response is both 14 hours long and paywalled, but the Justin Wang videos are a pretty good succinct explanation of what actually happened. In fact, Freshie, before we go, we're running over. I'll watch Biggest Problem later. I just I know the audience for this stream is probably watching Biggest Problem, but it's not like they were watching the stream before anyway. Let me show you one of these Justin Wang videos. This is one of the funniest stories from this drama. This is one of my favorite things to ever happen on the internet. There we go. Dick Masterson versus Maddox in the stolen iTunes feed. Let's. I'm gonna screen share this here. Are you watching the screen share, Freshie?
Yeah, I'm watching it.
I don't think we even need 1.5 times speed for this. I think this is good enough to watch at normal speed.
On May 20th of 2014, a podcast named On May 20th of 2014,
That was weird.
a podcast named The Biggest
That is
Problem
weird.
in the Universe made its debut. This show was hosted by internet personalities Maddox and Dick Masterson and was based around the concept of ranking all the problems in the world. This podcast was considered by many, myself included, to be one of the greatest podcasts that had ever existed, and it quickly amassed a tremendous, rabidly dedicated fan base. The show lasted for 107 episodes before the hosts split less than amicably, leaving them to go on to new projects. However, despite the death of the podcast, its iTunes feed would live on, leading to what I consider to be one of the greatest moments in internet trolling. This is the story of that iTunes feed.
Dick versus Maddox.
Stolen
A
A couple
iTunes
weeks
feed.
ago, Dick Masterson violated Maddox so intensely, so thoroughly, that I'm hard-pressed to find anything else to compare it to. This was perhaps the greatest comeuppance that I've ever been witness to, and I just hoped that there was some way to explain this to people that you could fully appreciate it even if you haven't been following the drama for the past 4 years. Then I remembered, that's literally what I do on this channel. And note that this is not yet another video on the $20 million lawsuit. You know, the one that... Although it did cause Asterios to lose his job. No, I have 3 other videos about that, and they're really good videos, so you should watch them if you haven't. But for the sake of this story, I want to focus on the smaller, less talked about lawsuit. The fight for the ownership of the biggest problem in the universe. Let's start at the end. On May 30th,
You can tell how that fight went because Dick Masterson is currently doing an episode of Biggest Problem in the Universe right now.
Yeah.
31st of 2016, the final episode of The Biggest Problem in the Universe was published. Conspicuous by his absence was Dick Masterson, who wasn't on the show and wasn't even among the people who Maddox thanked. The fans were
Just way to tell on yourself, because Dick and Maddox both tried to like bury this drama under the rug at the beginning. Like they were very vague about it. Like Dick was honest, but he was vague. He was like, I remember it's one of my favorite like speeches about like something that's gone wrong on the internet in history, where he's like, look, we had artistic differences, and we all know what that means. We all understand what it means when you have artistic differences. That something has happened where it can't go on, and he left it at that until Maddox tried to accuse him of being a rape apologist and sued him for $20 million. Then he had to say a little more.
You are a rape
were
apologist.
really
No, I'm not. I'm suing you.
Yeah, you're a rape apologist. No, I'm not. Okay, I'll sue you then. I'm the one who accused you of being a rape apologist, and now I'm gonna sue you for slander because you called me a cuck.
I am not a cuck.
I'm not a cuck. I can prove it legally in court.
And that goes so. That would go well. Who would have thought?
Who thought that lawsuit wasn't gonna work out?
curious about what was going on here, but both Dick and Maddox weren't giving any answers. A week later, on June 7th, 2 new podcasts made their debut. Maddox made The Best Debate in the Universe, and Dick Masterson made The Dick Show. And shortly after, fans of the old podcast noticed something.
Dick Show recently celebrated 500 episodes, by the way. Congratulations to Dick Masterson. Best Debate in the Universe ended 7 years ago.
Strange. So, my iTunes feed for The Biggest Problem in the Universe has now been changed to The Biggest Debate in the Universe, and all the old Biggest Problem episodes have been removed from iTunes. Maddox is literally forcing his podcast on anyone who's still subscribed to the old show's feed. Fuck you, Maddox. On a side note, Dick's show is the shit, and he didn't need to sneak it into my iTunes feed.
Yeah, so this was the beginning of the scumbaggery where Dick had to come out and respond. Maddox steals the iTunes feed for the show, the show they built together for 2 years, and just like deletes all the shit off of it and puts his new show on there. And all the fans are like, what the fuck? What is this shit? Where is Dick Masterson? And they're not getting any answers. They're just getting a shitty iTunes feed and their favorite show deleted from space and time.
That's what pisses me off. Like, how about like I can go and take Crash Out and just throw Crash Out into the fucking trash and throw Chalk is cheap. Let's see how that goes. The audience would be fucking pissed.
Yeah, and yes, especially if you were doing Crash Out for like years and you had a particular co-host, and then suddenly that co-host is just gone and it's a whole different show and you never say why. Or even again, I kind of got distracted and didn't finish this thought. Way to tell on yourself about the drama because they both tried to keep it caged, but immediately everyone knew something was wrong because Maddox did this weird fucking final episode where he spent a half hour thanking every single human being who has ever contributed to Biggest Problem in the Universe in any way, except for Dick Masterson, his co-host who's on every episode. So immediately everybody's like, what? How are you not? They didn't even mention him? What happened? So immediately everyone is suspicious. Where if you had just said, like, hey, he couldn't make it this week, but he loves you guys. We're ending the show. Like, instead of doing that, he just doesn't acknowledge him at all. And immediately everybody's like, okay, obviously something fucked happened here.
Dude, I'm looking at the old shit that he fucking put in his own website. It's so poorly made. It's not the that is
Well, the
not
thing
the
about the
best web.
website is that it has not been updated in its UI since 1995 when Maddox was famous for these
I
articles.
seen it. I seen it. He even have a fucking thing, said the archive, and it shows the archives of the past, how the website used to look.
Thing is that there's some
That
funny ass fucking articles on there too. Not in the past fucking 15 years, but he used to have something.
I hate Julia Roberts. Are you an asshole? You might be taking this test to find out. The perf- the perfect occupation before and after death. I hate kids.
that's
How
a
to
that's a
be
classic one.
okay, I'm gonna kids are loud, stupid, annoying, ugly, and they smell like dog shit. They're always running around giggling and spilling punch everywhere. They waste their time playing their shitty games like football and kick the can. Always eat candy and test the and and test and teasing the kids without any those little shits. Kids aren't even real people. That's why kids pay less to go to movies.
Am I
Ow!
IP blocked from fucking Maddox's website? Hold on. I can't access. I was trying to send you one of the articles, but I can't.
Did it type in .com?
The page won't load. Is this even the right? It's the best page in the universe.net. I got it from Google, but it won't open. Maybe he legit. Oh no, there it is. I was about to say maybe he legitimately IP blocked me from the site. He does know who I am. He's blocked me before. But okay, Freshie, I want you to read this one for the audience. Okay, while you're transcribing these articles, this is a classic one. This is when he still got it.
Really? Wiley,
Yeah. Hello.
I check your internet access internet real quick. What the fuck? I think it's on your side because like
Hold chat. I think we're still like live and everything. Streamlabs has not let me know of any issues with the stream. Can you guys still hear me okay?
I can hear you
Okay.
right now.
Let me
It might like I don't know. Discord might be fucking up.
Yeah, I think it was Discord, but I think we're back now. Let me get our shit back up. All right, Freshy Fresh. Anyone who doesn't like onions is an idiot. Go.
What?
That's the name of the article that I sent you. Did you not get it?
Oh yeah, let me get that. I Iceman, little fucking Iceman,
I don't
little
have
fucking
Spectrum
Ice.
anymore. Read on. I haven't had Spectrum in years. Spectrum sucks.
Oh, wow.
Are you
I'm
just
sorry.
reading it? Are you reading it to yourself over there, Freshy?
No, I'm not reading it myself. I'm dealing with fucking Iceman because Iceman fucking like gone off being like, and you got your shitty streams.
Is Iceman shitting on like this right now or like one of your old
No,
streams?
he won my probably my old streams. Like I I said I told him you're not Trump. He responded saying let me go all the way down where it is. And your shit ain't your shit at streaming. Then he went and made another reply. Delulu, you would never be getting close to what I accomplished. Blocked. And I said I accomplished. I told. I responded to him saying I accomplished more than you, buddy.
True. You know who we've all accomplished more than? Maddox in the past 10 years. This guy
So,
is dead weight and cannot read. Shut up, Redox. Don't be mean to our friend Freshie.
but anyways, let me get back. Let me get to that point. All right. Anyone who doesn't like onions is an idiot. Wow. Okay.
Are you an idiot, Freshie? Do you not like onions?
I of course I could be an idiot here. Alright. Every time someone utters the phrase, I don't like onions, my face crumples with hate that bubbles up from my pores and escapes through my cracked skin. If there was a service that specialized in punching a massive number of people, I would single-handedly keep them in business by paying for every last anti-onion night to get socked in the eye. I like onions because I'm an adult. You may think you don't like onions, but unless you have the taste possession of a dog, you're full of shit. That's because everything worth eating has onions in it. Don't believe me? Here's a list of food that onion haters dislike, despite the fact that they contain onions. Pizza. Think your Wakua's hatred of onions is stated by not ordering them on your pizza. What do you think gives the sauce its flavor, dipshit? Burgers. Patties are seasoned with onion powder. Pour your head out of your ass.
He used to have something.
Okay, that was good. Where was that at?
I know.
Okay,
He had to defeat Dick Masterson. He had to throw all of this away to defeat Dick Masterson.
my issue with that, okay, and I do have to disagree on that. There's other ways of cooking fucking put burgers, and I'm the guy who cooked a lot of burgers in my fucking
Oh, are you a
lifetime.
grill
You,
master, Freshie?
I'm a grill master. You don't have to have you don't have to put onions in it. There's other ways. Like you can put fucking like garlic, salt, pepper. I put like hemp seeds in it, and then you put it over some olive oil. Oh boy, it's so fucking good.
Boogers are seasoned with onions? What does that mean? What about boogers?
Burgers are seasonal onions. Oh, you want me to test that out?
No.
Anyways, onions make those giant clocks of bread worth shoving into your ugly, hateful mouth. Damn, I don't like stuffing at all. Onion rings. I definitely hate fucking onion rings. Inexplicably, some onion haters will order onion rings despite the fact that onion rings are made with onions. Well, I don't mind onion rings. So fried onions to keep their seat in the front of the bus in your ward? Are you gonna are you saying that fucking regular raw fucking onions are completely at the back of the seat?
Oh,
Like Rosa
booger!
Parks?
You're saying it sounds like he's saying boogers when he says burgers. Okay, I get it, Redux.
Yeah. Anyways, where did I let you know what? Don't eat
Chicken's
onions.
glorious. I agree.
You know what? Don't eat onions. We don't need your charity. Vom- Ramen. Wow, my onions. It's like onions are in everything. Where have I heard that? Oh yeah, right at the start of this fucking list. Or so- Okay, you don't want to be aggressive about it. Fried chicken. Keep shoving that breading into your tooth hole. Odd ass. Lord ass. What the That is an old term fucking. I don't even hear that thing.
Yeah, but he said lard ass since 2017, maybe.
Since 2017. This fucking article, I don't know when this article was fucking made.
But this one was probably like 2006. This was right
Yeah,
when
since
it was cool.
2006.
Yeah.
The onion powder is the batter gives your taste buds purpose. Gravy, barbecue, coleslaws, ranch, dressing, etc., etc. Onions, 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 onions make you feel unstoppable. There's a lot of okay. I gotta fucking say this. There's a lot of things. Onion. Okay, I don't like raw onions. It tastes bitter. If it's cooked in fucking burgers and everything, fine. But I think people hate onions because they just don't like the raw onions. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, appreciate raw onions in my old age. I'm not just eating onions for fun, but I'll have them on a sandwich on occasion. But I definitely was one of these not liking onions guys when I was younger. Like that thing you said about people ordering onion rings, but inexplicably not liking onions in any other context. That was me as a kid. I was that kid who would eat onion rings, but other than that, I was like, fucking get onions away from me.
I swear to God, thinking to myself, why am I always gonna be dealing with some fucking retard on the internet crying about how people opinions are? Like, this is like hands down the most whiniest complainant I ever heard. It's like you having a Karen right behind you, and you're
But it's
just.
funny though. But
It's funny.
he's
It's
got
it's a
he's got something.
yeah. Everything has onions in it. I love onions with all my heart and soul. My girlfriend was
Here we
giving me
go.
a
Here we go. This is where the art. This is where it gets brilliant.
my girlfriend was giving me a piggyback ride to the grocery store the other day because I didn't want to stuff my new shoe. Scuff my new shoes. Oh, why you what? Honestly, I got a new Nikes and I don't want to scuff that. I understand.
So you gotta have
I
your
understand.
girlfriend give you a piggyback ride to the grocery store.
She was huffing down the frozen pizza aisle when I overheard some hipster chick saying, "Ew, onions!" I jumped off my woman's back and slid over like a smooth criminal. Her boyfriend shrieked, "Dude, what's your problem?" That's when a clerk tossed an onion at me from the produce aisle. I immediately dropped into a handstand like a donkey kicked the onion into the hipster chick's mouth. She started chewing like a horse and crying tears of joy. She was happy that she gave me her number, which I drop kicked out of her hand into her boyfriend's skull. I'm gonna drop kick your motherfucking ass. That's like so fucking okay.
Keep going. Keep going.
This is
We're getting
I
there. We're getting to maybe the funniest line in anything ever.
she asked me how she
You're
would
allowed to
ever
say the word, by the way. Don't worry about TOS. This is my. If you say unalive, I'm gonna kill you. Don't
no, I
ruin the
don't.
joke.
No. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing. If it's in something, if I seeing something, I'm seeing something, and I'm gonna read it.
Fair enough.
She asked me how could I, ever repay me, and I gave her a stern look. She thought that look meant suicide. She was
He was
right.
right.
You want me to commit? You want?
Is I gave her a stern look. She thought that meant suicide. She was right.
You want me to you want me to go into the bathroom, turn on the bathtub, slit my wrist, and just lay there.
Oh,
Yeah.
a little more graphic than that, Frenchie. Keep reading.
A little bit more graphic?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a shoe in the head or like slit in the throat?
Keep reading. Keep reading.
She said, I know what I have to do. Then she waddled over to the next aisle, grabbed a potato peeler, and started peeling off her own face. Then I watched as she slowly ate her face for the next 15 minutes, piece by piece, until she bled to death. Her final words to me were, forgive me. I said, no, in sign language.
She died.
Forgive me.
No.
No,
I will not, actually.
I do not forgive thee. By now, the manager of the store had come by and said, sir, you have to leave. But I didn't hear anything because I was thinking about something else. He then got a mop and tried smacking me with it. I ducked like a drunken master. A drunken master, like a. Who threw that? Then sprung back up and slammed him in the chin of my butt. There's no chin on the butt. It's just a fucking tail.
Put him in the
It's a
chin with
tailbone.
his butt. He smacked him in the chin with his own butt.
That's how we got ass face right there. He started crying hot, salty water tears. So I hopped back on my woman's back to ride her off into the sunset. Just then, a security guard jumped out in my way. Big mistake. I shook my head and, in one solid motion, reached into my pants, took out my balls, and then, in super slow motion, I swung them like a sling and smashed his face. That's how you got dicked down by a fucking Mad Dog right there.
Mad
He got
Dog
dicked
Maddox.
down. Mad Dog Maddox got the security guard dicked down. I shook my. Oh, I already read that. Okay. It caused severe fractures into the sinus. Oh, his dick whipped him so hard his sinus broke. National orbital, ethmoid, and elastomer bones. What the lacrimal
Nerd
bones?
shit. He knows about bones. Look at how smart I am. I'm Maddox.
He required extensive surgery and was never able to fully speak again. Onion Wars.
See, so he used to have some sort of talent, but he let it slip away because of Dick Masterson. Now let's find out how Dick Masterson did something that was way funnier than any of that and
Oh,
epically destroyed Maddox in the
I wanna
process.
fucking hear this. I wanna fucking hear this. Is that from Dick Oh,
No, that was Maddox. This is Maddox's article.
okay.
But yeah, Maddox used to be talented in the past, but then didn't keep on for him.
Funny that he was super indignant about YouTube forcing their album on iPhone users. Come on,
Oh wait, are you back on the screen share? I forgot to ask.
Yeah, I'm back in the screen share.
Okay.
Maddox. Hey, I know that guy. So Maddox had deleted the old episodes of The Biggest Problem in the Universe from the iTunes feed and made sure that everyone who was already subscribed was getting his new podcast. This meant that Maddox was starting off from where they left off, while Dick had to start from square one. And the stealing of the iTunes feed for his new podcast was something that apparently friends of Maddox had advised.
What are you fucking saying to me?
What?
Jinji? What do you mean, why am I ignoring you? When did I don't see anything from you. What are you talking about? This is the first message I've seen from you in recent memory.
Advised him against doing. And it makes a lot of sense why people who had his best interests in mind wouldn't want him to do this. For starters, it was something that would confuse and piss off fans of the old show who at this point still liked Maddox. Doing something like this could also be perceived as defrauding sponsors by having inflated numbers. I don't know any of the details of sponsorship deals that Maddox has had on the show, but that's always a risk when you do that kind of thing. And there's a third reason why you wouldn't want to do something like that, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. You see, I think at this point, Maddox truly felt that he was in the right and he was completely...
Your message didn't come through. Did I miss it? Is there a message from Gingy in this chat? No! The first message from you in this chat is, why are you ignoring me? Is Gingy the one who lies about everything? No, that's Crow Royalty who lies about everything.
What the fuck?
entitled
I
to do
can't.
what he...
Time, can you? It's roboting. What the fuck is going on? Are you there, Viley?
Fucking Discord.
Discord is fuck. Okay, I'm gonna talk. Down. What is it again? Down chat.
Down checker? Yeah. I think it's probably just my computer being overwhelmed, if I had to guess. Hopefully we can make it work. I don't know why my computer's been being goofy lately.
Oh, I feel like I thought it was just me Discord or like.
Maybe it is Discord too. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Who knows? Let's hope it'll hold up for a little bit here.
He did. When the original podcast began, Maddox definitely had a much bigger fan base than Dick Masterson did.
Oh, oops.
Truly felt that he was in the right and he was completely entitled to do what he did. When the original podcast began, Maddox definitely had a much bigger fan base than Dick Masterson did. I think there's a good chance that he saw the show not so much as the biggest problem in the universe with Maddox and Dick Masterson, but the Maddox show with Maddox and the other guy. Doesn't really matter who the other guy is because everyone's here for Maddox, right? But what he didn't account for was that over the course of 2 years, 107 episodes, 18 bonus episodes, the fans grew to love Dick. And by swapping out the iTunes feed and deleting the old episodes, Maddox had betrayed their trust. Eventually, Dick made his own archive of the old podcast, which is a faithful recreation of the old website, and Maddox had made a separate iTunes feed for the old episodes. Dick and most of his hands were pretty pissed off about the stealing of the iTunes feed, while Maddox kept quiet on the situation. And things would remain mostly quiet on that front until a few months later in September when Maddox released his Dick Lies video that marked the beginning of a self-destructive campaign that would wind up turning more and more of Maddox's fanbase against him. The war between Dick and Maddox was now in full swing, but of all the mistakes he would make, the one that he made on January of 2017 would prove to be his most fatal. That was the date that he filed for the trademark of the biggest problem in the universe. With Maddox's reputation already taking a nosedive, fans of the old show began to panic about what his plans were. With the recent news that Maddox is attempting to acquire trademark rights to the biggest problem in the universe, there's a very concerning possibility here that we all have to address and prepare for. All joking aside, we are in a dire situation that threatens the entire existence of the biggest problem in the universe as we know it. Let's think about this for a second. Why would Maddox push to acquire trademark rights to our beloved biggest problem in the universe, which has already concluded its run? The answer is simple. So that he can have a monopoly as being the only legal distributor of the
I just realized I don't have my camera on my own live stream. Hold on. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
existing BPITU recorded episodes. If he does acquire this trademark, he can take legal action against Dick or any other entity for continuing to provide us an alternate download source. This news is extremely troubling when consider Maddox's disdainful attitude towards his fans, and his previous attempts to completely wipe out the existence of Biggest Problem in the Universe by deleting the entire show from the internet. This is a fact that cannot be ignored or forgotten. Each and every one of us knows in our hearts how special the biggest problem in the universe is, and Maddox acquiring this trademark would allow him to finish what he started by eliminating BPITU entirely, this time for good. Dick responded in June 27th of that year when he filed an opposition to Maddox's trademark claim, which is only fair since they did make the podcast together. Maddox's response to the opposition used the $20 million lawsuit as evidence somehow. Which, as a now deleted user points out, Maddox, wanting to claim the biggest problem trademark, files his lawsuit as evidence. The lawsuit's statement of facts begin with, Plaintiff Uzunian launched a podcast with defendant Herrera, entitled Biggest Problem in the Universe. Congratulations. You played yourself. And then once again on August 9th of 2018, Maddox lost. And you'd think that'd be the end of the story, right? Trademark claim denied, Maddox a two-time loser, the archive stays up and everything remains the same as it was before the trademark claim, right? Well, here's the thing. Remember how I said that there was a third reason why Maddox's friends might advise him to not steal the iTunes feed like he did? On Tuesday, August 14th, 2018, a few weeks ago, the few people still listening to Maddox's podcast were greeted by a surprise guest.
Hey everybody, this is Dick Masterson. You are listening to an episode of the best debate in the universe, or the biggest debate in the universe, whatever the fuck this show is called.
Dick had regained access to the stolen iTunes feed. And after Maddox had spent the past 2
He hacked the mainframe, Freshie. He got back into the feed. He infiltrated Maddox's show.
Let's go,
years
Maddox!
trying to-
Yeah!
Not let's go, Matt. Let's go, Dick Masterson.
Oh, Dick Oh.
Yeah.
keep his listeners in the dark about what he's been up to, Dick began to read off the litany of Maddox's transgressions. The restraining order, the $20 million lawsuit, posing as a reporter to try to get Asterios fired from his job, and of course, the stolen iTunes feed that Dick was once again in control of.
I now return you to your podcast, which you should unsubscribe from. This show is dog shit.
Maddox tried to get Apple to do something about it, but there was nothing they could do. The biggest problem in the universe...
He tagged the marketing director of Apple on Twitter. As if he gives a single fuck.
iTunes feed, now the best debate in the universe iTunes feed, was tied to Dick's iTunes account. As far as Apple was concerned, Dick was fully in his rights to do whatever he wanted with it. So Maddox had spent the past 2 years of his life building up a podcast on a stolen iTunes feed, and now just like that, it's gone. He wound up porting Best Debate over to his Biggest Problem archive feed, once again stealing an iTunes feed from the Biggest Problem in the universe, but it's only going to do so much when your audience is shrinking on a daily basis. And here's the kicker. Here's how Dick Masterson figured out that he was able to do this.
During the trademark dispute, I had to gather evidence to show that people were still listening to the feed.
Oh, yeah.
So I logged into my iTunes account to see, to get some analytics from the show, right? To say, look, people are still listening to the Biggest Problem in the Universe. It's still an active property.
Oh, sure.
It's not abandoned. So this needs to be decided on before Maddox steals it. So I logged in to my Apple ID to get some download stats on the on my archival Biggest Problem feed.
Mm-hmm.
I logged into the wrong account because who logs into these things? You know.
Oh.
I logged into my Dick Masterson account and I said, "Oh my, what is this?"
You got to be kidding me.
It said, "The best debate in the universe."
So you just kind of stumbled upon it?
Uh-huh. Because
Yeah.
he sued me for the trademark.
Yeah.
So this is, I want to make it clear that
Fate that Dick Masterson logged into this account trying to find evidence to defend his fucking trademark. And he finds that he has that Maddox didn't properly take away his access to the iTunes feed, and he can just do whatever he wants to Best Debate of the Universe. And Dick Masterson, he's a comedian, so most people in that situation would probably just like delete it or like do something fucked up and ruin it. But Dick is like, no, I don't want to take it away from the small shitty audience that it has, but I just want to send them a little message.
I got my research on that, and I went to the USP on the United States post USPTO, like a trademark thing for the United States. And I'm looking at the trademark. There's one that is active and live, and the status has been status was dated back in June 28th, 2022.
And that's under the name, I assume Dax Herrera, which is Dick Masterson's real name.
Let me see. Let me see. Yep.
Yeah.
But there was another one who was trademarked, but also left for dead.
Yeah, there's the old abandoned trademark, which is under the name
And
George Azunian, which is Maddox's real name.
yep.
So yeah, the
And that
current biggest problem in the universe trademark is fully owned by Dick Masterson. They're live right now doing their 225th episode or something.
I'm sorry that I did not. I'm sorry that I keep you away from them. From that.
Having a great time here. I'm totally cool. And but here's the I wanted to show you the actual uncut message that he put in front of Maddox's podcast. I think about this constantly. I used to have a soundbite from this on a soundboard and I would play it all the time. It's it's so funny.
Hey, everybody, this is Dick Masterson. You are listening to an episode of the best debate in the universe, or the biggest debate in the universe, whatever the fuck this show is called. I don't know why you're listening to this shit, but you are listening to it. There is nothing wrong with your audio player. I just wanted to talk to you for a quick second before I return you back to your show. If you missed me, and if you ever wonder what happened to the biggest problem in the universe, head on over to thedickshow.com or patreon.com/thedickshow, and I'll tell you all about it. I'll tell you about how Maddox threw a gigantic tantrum over an ex-girlfriend and ended what is one of the greatest podcasts the world has ever seen. I'll tell you about how Maddox's girlfriend, Metal Jess, now has a restraining order against her for calling that ex-girlfriend's work and trying to get her fired, lying to get her fired, sobbing about it in court. I'll tell you about the $20 million lawsuit that Maddox filed against me, Asterios, Patreon, everybody's place of business to try and get us fired, that he just lost in court because he's an incompetent fuck who can sell books as well as he files lawsuits. You can hear the breakup letter that Maddox wrote to his ex like a whining baby bitch jilted lover. We read that. You can hear about the video Maddox made calling me a rape apologist. The original troll on the internet, Maddox, sues people for making fun of him. Hear all about it on thedickshow.com, patreon.com/thedickshow. Oh, yeah, you can also hear about the feed Maddox stole from the original show and redirected to his news show. Which is why I can do this, Maddox, you stupid motherfucker. You incompetent motherfucker. You steal a feed and you don't change the ownership. You dumb, bald fuck. You fucking idiot. Go back to Utah. Go back to Utah or go even further than that, man. You do not belong on this world. You sue-happy sack of shit. Come on over to thedickshow.com. We'll talk about it. I'm there. Sean's there. Asterios is there. Asterios, who is now fired because Maddox pretended to be a woman online and pretended to be a female journalist and emailed Asterios' bosses saying that Asterios is an alt-right. Like, such a fucking crybaby. Now, fuck you, Maddox. Fuck you. Get raped. I now return you to your podcast, which you should unsubscribe from. This show is dog shit.
That was the biggest, like, oh shit.
The fucking This was Maddox's podcast that this message was put in front of secretly without Maddox's not. That day for Maddox must have been like his. That had to have been the worst day of his life.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was getting texts from all of his friends like, "Oh, dude, there's something wrong with the podcast." And he goes in and he hears Dick Masterson fucking laying out all of his sins and crimes to his audience who's been blind to it because he hasn't said anything about it, and making him look like a complete idiot. Man, what a fucking the beautiful comeuppance. And there's so many examples of that type of thing in the Dick Masterson Maddox
Yeah.
situation. I'll,
100%.
I'll have to give you some more of the hit clips someday. But should probably get off. I'm getting hot and sweaty. I
Yeah,
got some lonely kitties who are still imprisoned in a bedroom due to a window issue. I gotta go and spend time with them.
I do got an announcement real quick.
Oh shit, you got an
Uh,
announcement.
Mystic couldn't be a host anymore. He is taking off the host hat for Crash Out for good. I'll be looking for a new Crash Out host.
Okay, well, if anybody is interested in co-hosting Crash Out with Freshy Fresh, get out there.
I gotta go into the
Show
fucking
your
LC.
stuff.
I'm going into the fucking LCU for VC after this because fucking I'm in the fucking I got fucking Iceman crashing out about me.
Well, yeah, why don't you go ahead and head on there and we'll call this one good. Thanks for coming out, Freshie.
Yeah, you too.
And good night, everybody.